Hello and welcome everyone. In this video we will be ranking the main card fights of UFC 244. Now the only criteria being how much I enjoyed these fights, so here we go. Number 5th on this list is the fight between Kelvin Gastelum and Darren Till. Now it wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was Darren Till's debut at middleweight, and it was a question how he would perform at middleweight, especially against a guy like Kelvin Gastelum. Right off the bat, Kelvin Gastelum tried to take Darren Till down, but Darren Till was just too strong for him for the first two rounds to be taken down. In the third round, Kelvin Gastelum did take Darren Till down a couple of times, but each time Darren Till was just too strong to be held down on the ground and just got up very quickly. Now there wasn't much action in this fight. It looked like both the fighters were not willing to take risks, and the fight mostly revolved around jabs and leg kicks, and until leg kicked his way towards a split decision. Now number 4 on this list is the fight between Kevin Lee and Gregor Gillespie. Now coming into this fight, Gregor Gillespie was undefeated with a perfect record of 13-0. Now if I were a betting man, I would have bet that Gregor Gillespie would take Kevin Lee to the ground and just wrestle his way towards victory, but for some reason he decided to strike with Kevin Lee. Well, to be fair, he did try to take Kevin Lee down, but it was just one takedown attempt, I think, and he did not commit to the takedowns. And Gregor Gillespie decided to stand and bang with Kevin Lee, which was never going to end well for him. And to be fair, well, he did get in a few punches, but Kevin Lee was always going to get the better of him in the striking department. And the end came when Kevin Lee hit Gregor Gillespie with a right hand and then just left kicked him into oblivion. I mean, my God, that was a brutal knockout. Gregor Gillespie was out before he even hit the mat. First round finish for Kevin Lee. Number 3 on this list is the fight between Derek Lewis and Ivanov. Now, Derek Lewis just beat the living hell out of Ivanov, but respect to Ivanov for taking a beating. I mean, the guy was hit with some really brutal punches, but just wouldn't go down. I mean, Ivanov's chin just held up tremendously. I mean, Ivanov did get into a few dominant positions and could have submitted Derek Lewis, because it wasn't all Derek Lewis. Ivanov did have some success on the ground and got into a few positions where he could have had the submission win, but every time Derek Lewis was able to power his way out. This was an interesting fight because Derek Lewis was just swinging with all his might, and every time he connected with an uppercut or a hook, I thought this was gonna be it, but no, Ivanov just wouldn't go down. And this was the story for all the 3 rounds, which led to a split decision victory for Derek Lewis. The second fight on this list is the fight between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz for the BMF title. Now, in this fight, Jorge Masvidal seemed very much in his zone, and he seemed to be enjoying the spotlight and such a big occasion because he was smiling and he was just having fun. He started the fight acting as he was going for the flying knee, which was kind of funny. It was kind of a recall to his Ben Askren knockout. And he just put a beating on Nate Diaz for the 3 rounds. I mean, Jorge connected with some brutal overhooks and some brutal body kicks. I mean, any less of a man would have been knocked out by one of those right hands, but I mean, not Nate Diaz. I mean, if Ivanov's chin was something to behold, Nate Diaz's chin was something else. I mean, the guy is tough as nails. He just won't go down, and he just kept coming and just kept eating shots, but just wouldn't be put away. And this was the story for all the 3 rounds. And then at the end of the 3 round, because Nate Diaz was cut pretty badly, so the doctors decided to end the match, which was not very well taken by the crowd or even on the internet, but I understand their viewpoint because the doctors have a job, and that is to protect the fighter's health in the long term. And I mean, I also get why it wasn't very well taken, because considering it was the fight for the BMF title, and I mean, this fight ending in doctor stoppage is, I mean, it's just not, it just doesn't sit right with many people. But anyways, Jorge Masvidal, your winner of the BMF title. And number one on this list is a fight between Vincente Luque and Stephen Thompson. For me, this was the fight of the night because it was a really good fight from start to finish. In the first round, Vincente Luque got the better of Stephen Thompson, but by a very close margin because Vincente Luque landed about 40 significant strikes, while Stephen Thompson landed of about 31 significant strikes. But as the fight went on in the second and the third round, Stephen Thompson started to get into his groove and started sliding in and out of range and connected with some really good punches and really good kicks. In this fight, Stephen Thompson showed his amazing kickboxing skills, and it showed why he was 57-0 as a kickboxer. Now, I mean, seriously, his side kicks looked pretty impressive, and I mean, Stephen Thompson did land a lot of punches, but I mean, Vincente Luque's chin held up pretty nicely, and I mean, for in the second and the third round, Stephen Thompson outstruck Vincente Luque by quite a large margin, but I mean, from Vincente Luque, there was still a knockout threat, and I mean, Vincente Luque also landed some pretty heavy shots, but even Stephen Thompson held up, I mean, a lot better than his previous fight against Anthony Pettis. Anyway, it led to a decision victory for Stephen Thompson, a unanimous decision that is. Okay, so this is it for this video. Make sure to revisit this channel after the fights because we will be talking about what happened in the fights and we will be ranking the fights from the worst to the best.